Hi. Hi. Put this down. Turn that little blip off. This is my baby monitor. Sorry. Okay. All right. I'm nervous to talk to you guys. My husband just decided to turn on the lawnmower. I'm Claire King. You are coming to me live. You're not live. You are coming to me from my legit kitchen in the Midwest. So yeah, I have moved since you may have last seen me. I don't even know if any of you remembered me. I was on Tasty years and years ago. I was just, living in LA and New York. But recently I moved to the Midwest with my family. And so you might hear them from time to time. I am, did you hear that baby scream? Sorry about that. Well, I am shooting in my home kitchen, so you will hear my kids from time to time. You might notice I'm obviously not one of the original creators. We all started together at BuzzFeed many, many years ago, and we love all the old 8 creators, and we hope that they want to come back and work with us in some fashion going forward. This is such a special channel. It is such a special community of people that really love food, all aspects of it, right? Like the beauty of it, the cultural heritage, the nostalgia of it, hey, I have 20 pounds of potatoes and I need to get through them in my kitchen. So I just wanted to be a part of that. I love the premise of 8. I love the team that's trying to bring it back. And a through line of my career has been teaching people how to cook. It doesn't always mean a recipe. I feel like we've got enough recipes on the internet. But I really hope that I can take my knowledge of working in culinary school, working in restaurants, the decade plus that I've been in food media, helping to translate all that knowledge to you as the home cook. While I've been in this world for a long time, this is my first stab at doing it kind of solo. So you will hopefully see a lot of my bloopers and just give me a little bit of grace. You will see some new faces here. You will see some new creators, some new videos, some new types of content that we're working on. And we really hope that you love them as much as we do. We are so happy you're still here and that you're engaging with us and talking to us. Please let us know what else you want to see. Please let us know what questions you have, how we can help. And I'm excited to see what is next. Hi, welcome back to 8. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm Claire King, and I'm going to show you what I lovingly called anchor meals. I make the base. This anchor base is what I'm kind of calling it. Make dinner that night, and then I freeze the rest and make it into a couple different meals. The hope is with the prep I'm doing right now in the hour before my baby wakes up will get me through a significant chunk of dinner prep for future me without having to repeat flavors, repeat like the same old thing. I really don't like leftovers. My husband used to love them and now he also doesn't like leftovers. I've created a monster. The other thing I wanted to get into is ground meat, which I feel like is like the least sexy thing on the planet, but aside from just the cost, it's a really, really easy way for me to include a bunch of extra nutrition and plant diversity into my food. So I do have a couple swaps for you, a couple of easy ways to kind of like bulk up 1 pound of ground beef or ground chicken or ground pork, like whatever you're using. So I'm gonna show you with one base how I make 3 different dinners, teriyaki bowls that I like to make, tacos, as well as like a bolognese for pasta sauce, like a base for that. All right, I have my pan preheating, a little bit of fresh oil. So my preference is to get ground meat that looks a little bit like this. Like I actually prefer to get it fresh from the butcher if I can. I can't always. I am gonna cook 3 pounds of meat. I'm gonna do it in 1 pan, mostly because I hate doing dishes, but you could split this up if you wanted to. And I'm actually doing a combination. So I'm doing a little beef and some ground chicken, but I don't want to do it all at once because I want to get good caramelization and browning. Or you could just throw it all in the pan and not worry about it. But I am doing it how I like to do it, AKA properly. Like nothing's worse than you start a meal that's supposed to be 20 minutes. And like, even as a trained cook who has knife skills, knows what they're doing, knows where everything is, it's not happening in 20 minutes. Like to properly brown these things, to properly soften the vegetables, it just like doesn't happen that way. So it just takes time to do these things. Like it takes time to brown meat, it takes time to brown vegetables. And I really want to get that point across so that you can do it properly yourself at home. So I'm just gonna start breaking it up. Pinch it. I'm not gonna do a ton here because I tend to season as I go. So I have not touched the heat, and you can hear how quickly the pan has cooled down just from all that evaporation of the moisture in the meat and spreading out the meat a little bit. So using your ears, using your nose, honestly, are gonna be two pretty key indicators as you're cooking to make sure you're getting it right. See how it's so quickly just like releasing off the pan? It's not sticking because I'm letting it do its thing. So I'm obsessed with this down here. Like, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And if I were to crowd the pan, I would not be getting that. So I'm just starting to get some of that really pretty caramelization on there. And that's definitely what I'm looking for. So if you're touching your meat too much and not really letting it get that nice color, you're missing it. Okay, so this is in a pretty good spot. It's starting to stick a little bit on the bottom, so I'm gonna take this off and I'm gonna repeat this with the other 2 pounds of ground meat. Disclaimer, I will not use ground turkey. I just have like a personal, there's not very many things that I say I don't like, but being in food media for as long as I have been, Thanksgiving's like our Super Bowl, and I've done so many turkeys in my life that I honestly like can't even eat it anymore. And so if I'm gonna do like poultry just to keep things a little on the lighter side, I will go with ground chicken personally. So you can see all these brown bits, yeah? So you can hear it popping. So I always keep stock on hand, which we can talk about that in a future episode. But at this point you can use water, you can use stock. This is about to be loud and crazy, but this is a big unlock, and I have found in many years of doing recipes and teaching people how to cook that people do not know like how often you should be doing this. Like all that stuff that's getting released, that's all called the fond. And especially if you're doing something like this on high heat and you're getting all that sear, you're gonna need to do that a couple of times if you're doing it properly, because you're using high heat here. And if you don't do that, those bits on the bottom will burn and turn bitter instead of that like really nice, rich Maillard caramelization that we're going for. So a little bit of fresh oil. Okay, so I'm letting it kind of sit, but I will just break it up ever so slightly. And part of that is because yes, I want that brown color, but I also want to cool down the hot spots on my pan so that nothing's burning. The food moving to that spot and the evaporation that happens is what's going to cool down the pan. So much of cooking is controlling for moisture and heat and like evaporation, pretty much the main thing that we're doing here. And then again, just a little pinch of salt. And then I had one more pack of ground beef in my freezer that I probably grabbed on sale. As you can tell, it's just like a lot more dense than those kind of fresh ground packets. I will add just a little bit more oil just to help it kind of get going. I can see it's starting to stick a little here. I'm getting some good brown bits here. And that's the thing, like I can tell you a time, but like every pack has worked a little bit differently, right? So you really just have to keep an eye on it and do some critical thinking, but you can do it. I believe in you. All right, so again, you can totally hear the difference, right? Like that's just evaporation, babe. I have not touched the flame. And I'm not gonna lie, you guys, like I pitched this idea and I'm like, it's gonna be ground meat, which I feel like is like the least sexy thing on the planet, but I'm a mom, I've got 3 kids, I have a monthly budget that is tough for me to stick to when it comes to my food budget, and I'm doing the best I can. So we often do a lot of ground meat dinners in my house. We're all doing our best. So I really wanted this to be like actually useful for you guys and have tips and tricks on how to get the most out of what you're buying. Because honestly, like, there's nothing more defeating than spending a bunch of time and money on something and having it not turn out great. It just stinks. It happens to the best of us, right? And so technique really matters. Seasoning really matters. And if you can do some of these like prep meals when you're not stressed and you have time to do it, like that's just, it makes a world of difference. Okay, so this is good. Oh, I haven't added any salt yet, have I? Okay. If I were to throw all that meat in there, it would have just boiled. It would have taken so long for that evaporation to happen that all of this meat would look gray. It would not be caramelized. It would not look, I'm not saying this is sexy, but it's like the best we can do. You know what I'm saying? And so at this point, just to like zhuzh it a little bit, I'm just gonna throw everything back in here and kind of mix it all together one more time. Ground chicken was on sale. And this way I feel like a little bit better about just like cutting down a little bit on the red meat consumption. All right, so this looks good, guys. Like this is, you know, as even as it's gonna get. So now I'm just gonna take this off and we'll start on the vegetables. All right, so this is a trumpet mushroom, and I find these are just like a little bit easier to cut. They've just got a really chill, like mellow flavor, and I really like them. I started using them in like hot pot and stuff. And I just like came to love them, and I actually buy these the most, but not every store has them. But whenever I see them, I'm always excited and I always get them. Like I feel like they last a long time. And whenever I get mushrooms and I get them home from the grocery store, I always put them in a paper bag. Take them out of their plastic because they need to like breathe a little bit. The reason why I'm cutting these things so small is because I kind of want everything when it's all said and done to be the same size so that when you're eating the ground meat, you honestly like can't really tell. I'm not a big believer in like the whole hidden veggie thing. Like I don't really do that all the time, and I really hate cleaning a blender, if I'm honest. And so that's honestly where a lot of it stems from. I'm sure you've noticed I've not touched the mushrooms yet. So I put them in, and these will cook down to basically nothing. So if you saw those mushrooms and you were like, oh my God, there's so much mushrooms, I hate mushrooms. Like just try it, okay? Just try it and trust me, and let me know what you think. And that whole bunch of mushrooms cooked down to this. So do this carefully, obviously. All right, so these are crunchy, these are feeling good. And as you can see, like, I'm getting a little stickage. So that tells me I'm gonna use a little bit of oil just to give things a little bit of lubrication. And I'm also gonna do a little bit of stock. And that is just really quickly gonna cool down my pan. And I'm even gonna like move my pan a little bit and get to where I'm seeing a lot more of the stickage happening to really quickly heat that down. You really can't overcook this part. Like this can just go. All of this prep I'm doing as I'm going in the recipe because I know it takes me so long. If you have picky kids, like this is the one that's going to remain bright throughout the cook. So if you have kids that are weird about carrots, you've been warned. But again, once you get into these like batons, it's honestly not difficult. You could also do this in a food processor, or if you like those little like veggie choppers, but I don't mind. I'm waiting for these to get translucent anyways, so it's not the end of the world. Can you hear my kids like literally stomping around like elephants upstairs? All right, garlic. Okay, I love it and I hate it, you know what I mean? Like it drives me crazy when you get into the middle and it's all these like little baby ones. Like who has time to peel all those? So I normally save these. I have a bunch of these like kind of smaller nubs. And I just cut them in half and I use them in my stock that I'm always making. That was another episode I want to do with you guys, this one on bones, but I want to make sure you guys are ready for it before I dive into that. It's not hard, I just feel like people are freaked out by that. So give it a good whack. You could grate it in too, but I'm not planning on using my grater. So this is just a big pinch of kosher salt. And that just gives you a little bit of abrasion on the garlic and gives it a little bit of grip. So it's not just like sticking everywhere to your knife and everything. It also chills it out a little bit. So if you're using raw garlic, I would always do this because it just like softens the garlic a little bit. It just takes a little bit of that like raw garlic bite out. And this is like pretty much good for me. So this is at a place where like I'm not gonna lose sleep. Like at culinary school, we would have to like make a paste out of it and like really grind it down to nothing, but I will not be doing that today. And I think that's our veg prep. Oh, you know, I lied. I have one more thing. Ground meat, lentils, I'm gonna lose you, but just stick with me, okay? All right, so these are my drained and rinsed lentils. And as you can tell, like they're going to be the same size as everything else in there, right? So they're a little bit meaty, pretty bland, honestly. So they're gonna go really well with all of this extra flavor that we've developed with the onions and the carrots and the garlic. And this is really going to help us make all of that meat go a lot further and also get a lot of extra fiber and nutrition in there as well. So feel good about it. All right, so now my veg is all cooked down and I'm just going to add back all of this ground meat in. You are going to be so grateful when you open your freezer or your fridge or whatever and you have this done already. Like it just makes dinner so much easier and there's no weird texture, like didn't sit in the crock pot all day. It's just like a nice way to look at meal prep a little bit differently. This is my base, this is my anchor. Isn't that so cute? This is my anchor, my freezer anchor, my anchor for the week, my secret sauce. Oh my God, make a bigger mess, huh? And you can't see the lentils, guys. You can't see the mushrooms. Like they just disappear in here. And I love that. All right, and that's my base. So I have like minutes before my baby wakes up, and this is definitely the kind of meal prep that I like to do because here I am, did the work while I had time, on my time. This is a meal that's gonna feed my family without feeling like you're just struggling eating the same thing every single day. And the thing that I love too about ground meat is it freezes really nice. So it's not gonna like super affect the texture or anything like that. There are few greater things than fitting the food that you made perfectly in the Tupperwares that you got out. Wow. This is me. This is 37. All right, off to the freezer. All All right, and as promised, we're gonna get dinner on the table in a matter of minutes. So all I'm doing to this one is just adding some like store-bought teriyaki sauce to this. You can really easily do your own thing with some extra soy, mirin, sugar. I love to add a little bit of like gochujang too, like anything kind of spicy or sriracha, whatever you've got. It's really just, you know, whatever your family loves. This is one of those things that my kids will eat anything if this is on it. So this is a good base, and that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna heat it up, kind of incorporate it a little bit, stir it around, and then dinner's gonna be served in like now. So we've got rice, carrots, cucumber. You can really dress this up 100 different ways. And the kids always get excited when there's something that they can add at the very end, like sesame seeds, green onions, cilantro, like whatever I can put in little pinch bowls that they get to put on their food, they love. So we really love this meal. So all I'm doing to this one is just adding some taco seasoning. Really all that is cumin, garlic powder, onion powder, some chili powder, so no sweat if you don't have it. And then I also like to add just a little bit of water or stock in there as well, just to make it a little stewier. And then once that all cooks down, we'll be ready to eat. Totally different flavor profile, lots of fresh veg. Cover it in enough shredded cheese, and again, my kids will devour it. So serious about letting the kids top it with whatever they want. Yeah, so you could absolutely just stick with the tomatoes. I'm gonna add a little bit of dried oregano, I think, and some red pepper flakes. I like to add a little bit of garlic powder, even though there is some garlic in here. I feel like garlic powder is really nice. It's like really strong and adds like an earthiness. So I'm gonna let that sit for a second, taste for salt, and then I like to add like mascarpone cheese or like a little bit of milk too to kind of thin this out. Like if I'm gonna eat pasta, I'm gonna eat pasta, if you know what I mean. Pasta is like kind of a religion to me. If there is anything that I care deeply about, and my son, I've created a pasta monster. In my religion, you have to cook the pasta in the sauce. It's sacrilege. And to teach your kids to eat pasta without sauce, get out of here, out of my house. Just kidding, whatever you need to do to get you through the day. I totally get it. A lot of parents struggle with feeding their kids vegetables, feeding their kids extra plant nutrition. We don't cook any extra meals for our kids. Like they eat what we eat. And even just saying that sounds like annoying, but it is true. My daughter was diagnosed with celiac when she was 3 years old, and it impedes the amount of nutrients that your body can absorb when you're eating food. She was completely malnourished, which was humiliating for me because I am a chef. So I became kind of obsessed with adding a bunch of nutrition and making sure that she ate whatever I gave her. So I'm just gonna kind of keep going until I feel like I've got enough of my bolognese in there. All right, and as promised, we're gonna get dinner on the table in a matter of minutes. Here we go, guys. Full of cheap, nutritious goodness. It's not full of a bunch of added sugar and salt. It's just an easy, basic meal starter that you're going to be so grateful you have in the fridge or the freezer, wherever you decide to leave it. This is a really great way that I can do a good amount of prep and do it properly, and then like not have to be a meal repeater too much. Stocked my freezer for when like I have a crazy work day or just like crazy day of activities with the kids and I don't have the time to spend prepping for like a seemingly basic meal, so that I can not be like stressed and going crazy and screaming at the kids when I'm trying to cook dinner and get it on the table at like, I would say peak stressful time of the day when you've got 3 kids hanging on you and they want to eat. Let me know what you think. I have a couple of other ideas of what things that I could do for this premise and really want to share it with you guys on this channel. Can you hear my kids? I should tell them to stop. Oh, summer break, am I right? Who else is having a good time? Who else is ready for school to start? I gotta send them outside. This is getting crazy. Welcome back to 8. We're so happy to have you guys back.